All right, this is a quick demo of this template project that I put together for editing a podcast visualizer. So my podcast is called The Filmlings. We talk about movies. We talk about multiple movies at a time. And so I have this visualizer that will show the posters and names of the films as we're talking about them as kind of just some simple chapter markers. So I can show you a quick demo of how it works.
So many times now.
So it starts with this little intro deal. Welcome to the Filmlings. And then it'll show the title of the episode and the episode number, and then that moves up. And then when we start talking about the movies, then we get all the posters,
which is funny
kind of
because
come up.
I watched Funny Girl the other day, and it's not.
And so we see all the posters at once, and then as we talk about each film, they kind of zoom in and then scroll up through each one until we get to here, and then we see all of the films again, and then at the end we show all of the films that we're going to be talking about the next time. So then that's
next season.
And we're usually talking about between 2 to 4 films, so it kind of varies a little bit. So the way that I have this set up in After Effects is that most of the animation is happening within this one comp. So this is the main comp that I'm editing, but all the animation happens right here. And so you can see all the text kind of scrolls around, and then all the posters scroll around, and I have this one layer that just has markers on it because the way that I have it set up is so that it will be time remapped to these markers. So wherever I put these markers, that's when that section of the animation happens. And then I also have a series of essential graphics properties that let me load in the posters and the text and all that kind of stuff. So I never really have to go into the animation comp anymore. All I do is edit here. So the one that we're working on now is episode 137, and then that updates right there. You can see, and then I can update the title right from here. And then I have this, and this is newer because the last couple seasons we've been doing 4 films exactly for each one, but this season we're being a little more variable with it. So I can use these drop downs to change the number of posters that will show up. And same thing when we come over here, I can change this, and these can be separate. So I can have 2 films for the next episode and 3 films or 4 films for the current episode. And you'll notice that the text for all the films is already loaded in, and I've just loaded up this composition, but I don't actually type in the titles for the films within After Effects anymore. I have this CSV footage that is actually where all of that text is getting pulled from. So if I come into here, you can see that that's all just being pulled from a data value from that CSV. And I also have it set up to automatically resize to the size of this bounding box, so that it never extends too far off the screen. And then I don't have to worry about typing in the movie names. Then the only things that I do have to worry about are inputting the audio and the posters and the timing. And so I'll go ahead and load in my audio. So this is the first thing, and all the audio comes to this one subcomp, and it's subcomped so that I have some of these comps that have this waveform on them. So you can see 37, and here that's all coming from these, and it's easier to link that to a subcomp. And also some of these markers are important for the subcomp. So then I just have to set this to be the length of the audio, since this episode is 1 hour and 50 minutes long, one of our longer ones. then I'll just go ahead and trim it down. And now while I'm editing the audio in Audition, I'm adding these markers so that when I get into After Effects, all I have to do is line them up with these ones that are already set up in the template. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick and kind of speed through this part. So with this particular episode, we don't have 4 movies, so I'm just going to remove the movie 4 marker and then line up all the other ones. So that being done, I'm going to come back to my main comp and resize it as well. And I'm going to make sure that all the layers are long enough and then just trim it down a bit. Okay, so now I'm going to just update all the layer markers from the subcomp. Since this layer is the one that the time remapping is associated with, I am going to run a script. First of all, I'm just going to clear all the markers off, and then I'm going to run a script here. So I'm going to run a script called RD copy markers from Redefinery. I'm not sure if those scripts are still available, but for a while they were accessible online for free. I'm sure you can dig them up still. Now, the only things that I need to adjust here, so you can see this is already set this the way it needs to be.
Shall We Dance from 1937.
So all the timing is pretty much perfect at this point. There are a couple of points that I may rearrange here, but some of these, just based on the way that the expressions work, I need to remove that marker and that marker. Some of these markers have a duration, and that will actually change the duration that the animation happens over, and stuff like that. So this fade out happens across the length of that. Now all I have to do is plug in my posters. So what I'm going to do for that is load in all my posters. Now, instead of having to go into a bunch of subcomps for all of these, I have them set up to be media replacement properties in the essential graphics. So all I have to do is, oh, and we actually only have 3 films for this, and the coming attractions will be 4 films. And then I just drag and drop these in here. And then when we do the coming attractions, we do the same thing. And there we go. We are pretty much done. And then it just needs to be exported. So again, there's a lot of other details in there, like moving the length of these waveforms and associating those with some of these markers and stuff like that. But that's the overview. That's how I can edit an 1.5 to nearly 2-hour podcast visualizer in about 5 minutes when all is said and done. So maybe give you some ideas on some of your projects and things that you can do. So thanks for watching.